Hey guys, rxlyaT or Taylor here, and today I'm back with another Division video. And of course it's Saturday, so that means it's a weekly vendor reset. So like always, we start with the blueprints, and today we're going to start in Camp Clinton. So this week we have a must buy. If it's not here for you, it means you've already bought it. Unlike myself, I haven't. So it's the Navy MP5N blueprint. Like I said, I highly recommend purchasing this one. As well as that is the ACR blueprint, firearm knee pads, firearm mask, an Omega rifle suppressor, and finally a heavy magazine spring. Of course, the exotics don't change, however the talents do re-roll on them. So the Centurion rolled with expert and competent, the Cassidy with capable and dominant, the Liberator with meticulous, self-preserved and prepared, the Historian with talented and destructive, and finally the Pecan with determined and unforgiving. So like I said, if you haven't already, make sure you buy that Navy MP5 blueprint that's in Camp Clinton. We're now going to go back to the terminal and have a look at the blueprints there, as well as the special equipment vendor. So at the terminal blueprint vendor, that's a military M9, as well as a classic AK-47. I must have bought the classic AK-47 blueprint a couple of vendors ago, that's why it's not showing up for me. That's also an electronics vest, an electronics backpack, a flash hider, a small laser pointer, and finally a firearms gear mod blueprint. At the special equipments vendor, the Historian rolled with prepared and predatory, the Pecan with commanding and skilled, the Centurion with expert and unforgiving, the Liberator with adapt, intense and responsive. Some great talents actually on this. Roll intense for something like competent and you'd have yourself a really nice Liberator in fact. And finally the Cassidy rolled with destructive and meticulous. We're now going to go up to the advanced weaponry vendor. Here we have a Magnum rolled with expert and destructive, a black market T821 with competent, sustained and predatory, a military G36 with skilled, capable and focused, a Super 90 with responsive, adapt and swift, the M700 tactical with swift, predatory and obviously elevated, and finally the MG5 with ferocious, talented and swift. So now we're going to start and have a look for some gear around the world. First up at the gear vendor inside the base of operations, it's a really nice PvP refreshed mask here. It's rolled on stamina at 1242 and it's got skill power and blind death resistance. Roll the blind death resistance for burn resistance and it's a great mask for PvP. Back at the special equipments vendor inside the terminal, there's a vigorous chest here and it's rolled on electronics at 1221. It has enemy armor damage, all resistance and ammo capacity. Roll all resistance here for something like skill haste and it's a really nice vigorous chest, especially if you're looking for one that's already rolled electronics on. Now that's it for gear, because it's kind of hard to find gear sets now, especially considering we have so many classified ones out and they're never going to be as good as the classified version. But guys, if you would still like me to include some gear pieces that aren't classified, then let me know and obviously I can always do that. But for this episode, we're going to skip over the gear pieces that I don't think are very good, but that I would usually mention. I hope that made some sort of sense anyway. But now we're going to have a look at some of the weapons around the world. Now, I actually skipped over this one, but this is a really nice Historian. It's already got prepared rolled onto it. I would probably think about rolling predatory off, maybe for something like destructive or even competent. And you could make use of this Historian a lot actually. It's also got a really high damage roll on it, so it wouldn't take too much optimization. And obviously I already mentioned the Liberator, but I am going to go over it again. Like I said, it's got adapt, intense and responsive on it. Roll this for something like destructive, again, all competent, and it's a great PvE or PvP assault rifle. Unfortunately, again, that's all it really is for weapons this week. That's really not that much out there. This is kind of a bad week for vendors in particular. But now we're going to have a look at some weapon mods and some gear mods. So it's actually a really nice prototype stamina mod back inside the special equipments vendor, still inside the terminal. It's got a really high stamina roll at 265, and obviously it's got that max skill haste at 3%. I recommend picking up these, especially if you need extra stamina, but you're looking for the skill haste as well. So back at the gear vendor inside the base of operations, that's actually a really nice prototype firearms mod here. It's on the low side for the firearms roll at 235, but it does have that 1% crit hit chance on it. So if you're looking to up the crit chance, then this might be the mod for you. So that was it for gear mods. We're now going to have a look at some weapon attachments, and we're starting off in the Grindhouse safe house. Here we have a really nice Omega rifle suppressor. It's got 16% headshot damage, a little bit on the low side, but it does have 4% crit hit damage and 2.5% crit hit chance. Like I said, that was at the Grindhouse safe house. So back at Camp Clinton safe house, At the special equipments vendor, that's a really nice extended magazine here with 120% magazine size, 5% reload speed and 5% rate of fire. I can't say this enough, buy a few of these. So guys, that's going to be it for this week. Before I go, I just want to say thank you for all of the support recently, and I hope every single one of you have had a really nice past couple of weeks. With it being Christmas and whatever else you celebrate, I hope you've had a lovely time. Hopefully now I can be a bit more active because I've had some time off, but I'm looking forward to getting back to it. Guys, as always, if you enjoyed this video, then let me know either with a comment or by clicking that like button. And if you're new around here and want to stay up to date with all of the things The Division, then please make sure to subscribe. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.